tear weight in tons. This is normally mentioned on the body itself. Column 9, carrying capacity and the axle load. It is again mentioned on the body itself, so we can very easily record from it. Build data or the build date, manufacturing date under column 10. This is again on the body itself. We can ourselves see it. It's on the side end of the bogey. Then the return date. Return date means the date, the month and the year in which it has to return to its base station for POH. Column 12 and 13 pertain to POH particulars of date and the shop where POH has been done. Stiff springs or springs of higher free height, and anything below 1030 in loaded condition or even in empty condition will give an indication about the loss of deflection of the springs used on a particular wagon. So this is the first parameter which gives a clear indication about the suspension system. So be very, very particular. Each and every millimeter is very important for us. I have skipped column 23, 24, 25 because this is for case of breakage of axle. So when the cause is normally known, so it's obvious cause of derailment. Column 26 is the wheel diameter. Now wheel diameter again, for new wheel it's 1000 mm and the condemnation limit is stock. This I will discuss in a separate video because IRS and UIC stock normally now in the phasing out phase. Next column we move on to 41, which is the type of bogey. The type of bogey is always very important to mention CASNUB. Which type of CASNUB is 22W, 22WM, 22WR, NL, NLB, HS, etc. Because for various types of bogies we have different clearances and different parameters, so that's why it is important about the application of different parameters to a particular type of a bogey. Hence, very particularly please record the type of CASNUB, whether 22. Column 45 to 49 again pertain to UIC IRS stock, and this we can deal on a different video. Column 50, this is very, very important column, and this is in relation with 21. In 21 column we had a buffer height, and this is the factor which affects the buffer height. If the springs are weak, you will have the buffer height low. If you have springs stiff, the buffer height or the deflection will be poor. Again, it will be stiffer deflection. So the working height or the deflected height is 217 mentioned in the drawing, and this drawing I have already linked in my previous video. So the working height is 217 mm. So if we just stand on the side of the wagon facing, take the die, we can take it with a caliper as well. So the CASNUB 22 maximum permissible side wear is 5.5 for 22W, and for all other it is 4 mm. So we should be very particular about this parameter, because this is one of the parameters which helps the bogey to adapt to the degree of the curvature. And uneven wear indicates many more things. It can be wheel dia difference, it can be eccentric movement, it can be eccentric loading, and the wear of pivot is very, very important. Then we have the condition of side bearers. Now side bearers nowadays are two types which are being used. One is MP rubber pad. The maximum height is 114 and it is only for the pad portion, rubber pad portion, and the condemnation is below 109. And again in CASNUB 22 NLB bogies we have ring type, and over that there is a cup. So the height of two rings in case of 22 NLB is 134, and it is condemned at less than 128.5, and for 3 rings, that is for HS, it's 42.5 mm, and the condemnation limit is if it goes below 137 millimeter. The next important component of the bolster is under column 54, known as friction snubber wedge. This friction snubber wedge is this type of triangular type of a wedge. These are 4 at a particular bogie, 2 on each side of the bolster. This is known as spigot, and here lies the spring, coil spring. Now, condition of friction snubber wedge. What is condition? With a naked eye, nobody can see. So we have to measure it. There is a S type of a gauge, and this is placed over it. So this holds the center. So for vertical wear, we measure this gap between the wedge and the gauge face, and again we rotate it and put it on the slope side. This is the fixed point for both sides, and here on the slope side the vertical wear is maximum allowed 4 mm. So if we put a feeler gauge and if it is 5, the wedge is worn out. Similarly, on the vertical side, when we put the gauge and insert a feeler gauge, if it is more than 7, then it's worn out. Let's move on to next. Column 55, whether a load is placed on more than one wagon, if any long item is placed in open wagons and that overhangs on another wagon, this is for that purpose. And very importantly, we have column 56 and 59, wherein we have any other defect in vehicle which may have contributed. So if we have the heights going out of tolerances in case of buffer height or the deflected head, then we have to ask for free height of the springs. We have to measure the wear of the pivot. Column 3rd is anti-rotation of lug clearance. Anti-rotation lug are in the bolster and the side frame. This is the clearance between bolster lug and side frame lug, and it is on the opposite side, not from the outside, but it is inside. So that is maximum limit is 6 mm. So that has to be measured. And even for the wear of friction wedges, we need to measure it. Condition cannot be visually described. This has to be measured in terms of millimeter, and they have to give it. One thing more I would like to suggest here, that sometimes there is a denial, we will not give this measurement because this is not mentioned in the accident proforma. I shall like to make it very, very clear that for any measurement pertaining to mechanical department, the mechanical department and the safety department. Mechanical department, for their personal departmental measurements, they are responsible to give it. And the safety departmental officer is responsible to have arrange measurements being taken from all the concerned departments. So there cannot be any denial, and further the inquiry committee has full authority to get into the measurements. So well friends, this marks the end of this video, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, and for contacts I have given my contact numbers, my email. Everybody is free to discuss. And one request in the last I would like to make is that please do comment in the comment box about your liking or disliking and the parameters and the items you want me to discuss. And one thing I would again confess, even I am now after so long experience at a learning stage, because in recent 3, 4, 5 accidents which have been referred to me for discussion purpose, I found myself to be lagging in some of the parameters, and which I had to put my head into the manual and give them the data. So nobody can say that I am fully conversant. No, everybody is at a learning stage, and I would be happy for your comments. Please do comments. Once again, thanks for watching, and once again I would like to request, please subscribe, like and share. Thank you.